Hi there. My name's Tom. I'm the CDC at Chien Noir. This is my wife, Maleeha.
Hi.
I'm gonna go get Lawson.
Hello. All right, come say hi. Come on. And this is Lawson, our son. And we're really excited to be doing together at home on Visit Kingston's live feed.
Yes, this is awesome.
We're gonna start with two things today. So I'm gonna make a cocktail and Tom is going to make a tuna tartare, the one that we serve at Chien Noir. And yeah, I guess I'll start now. So the easy thing about making a cocktail at home is probably you have everything in your fridge. So I had some real lemon, which is pasteurized lemon juice. It lasts a little bit longer, so it's nice to have in your fridge. I'm using yogurt, strawberry jam, egg whites, honey, and vodka to make this drink. So we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of yogurt. I'm doing it in a mason jar because I actually don't have any shaker tins at home, which is really funny for a bartender. But a mason jar kind of works. So I'm also gonna do another spoon of strawberry jam. All of the recipes will be on my feed later too. It's _Mrs. Iglesias. So _MRSIGLESIAS. All right, and then we're gonna do 1 ounce of this honey syrup. So when we got our case of wine from Rosewood this week, they sent us a tiny little bottle of their wildflower honey. So I made a syrup from it really quickly. It was 2 to 1. And I'm gonna do,
honey to water.
Yeah, 2 to 1 honey to water. So I'm gonna take this syrup, I'm gonna add it to my little shaker here. Having bartender OCD things, I have to close things and put them away right away. Okay, and then we're gonna do a 1/4 ounce, 3/4 lemon juice. Because it's pasteurized, I'm doing 3/4 because I find it to be a little bit stronger. And then I'm gonna add my egg white. I have a little tutorial for egg whites that I'm gonna post on my feed later. For now, I've already done it. This is 1 whole egg white. That's Lawson in the background.
Super bored, stuck at home, I'm sure, as we all are. But he makes the best of it.
We're gonna put in 1.5 ounces of vodka. And I forgot my Cointreau.
You wanna come see what Mommy's doing? Cool.
I'm gonna do 1/2 ounce of Cointreau.
Let's see what Mommy's doing.
So I have to show you guys my little bartender setup too. Like I said, I'm very specific in the way I do things. So this is my tiny little ice well, my mixer and everything all set up for me. This is the cocktail glass we're gonna use, so I'm gonna get that nice and chilled already. I know it's kind of gross I'm using my hands for the ice, but I promise I wouldn't do that at the restaurant.
Yeah, we're at home. It's okay. We can do stuff like that.
Alright, so let's
Lawson,
get
do
this
you want
guy
a shrimp
chilling.
chip? Lawson loves the shrimp chip.
Okay, so now in this mason jar, what we're gonna do, oops, you can't see it. So now in the mason jar, we're just gonna add all this ice. Just fill it to the top because ice chills ice. It's the best way to shake. Fill it all the way to the top. And then, usually when people use egg whites, they do a dry shake first and then a hard shake, but I like to do the hard shake first and then the dry shake. I find the foam is a little bit thicker. So then you shake, shake, shake.
Yummy, Bubba? What is it, Bubba? Do you love these shrimp chips?
So then you open it up. We're going to strain out the ice and strain out the cocktail so we can get ready for our dry shake. But let me just grab a cup here. All right. So now it's time for the dry shake. I like to do it for roughly 30 seconds. Just to get the egg whites nice and aerated and foamy.
What's the difference between a dry shake and a wet shake?
Wet shake has ice in it, and a dry shake is after you strain out the ice.
Mm.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. Lawson is just smashing these shrimp chips. He's just stuffing it in his mouth right now.
They're so good.
He just basically stuffed 3/4 of a shrimp chip in his mouth.
I know, he really likes them. Okay.
Do you have cheeks full of shrimp chips?
Then I'm just going to strain this out.
Uh-oh.
So another fun trick that I've learned for this is that you can actually throw all of these ingredients into a blender. Obviously, I would never do that at work because no one wants to sit at your bar.
Uh-oh.
So another fun trick that I've learned for this is that you can actually throw all of these ingredients into a blender. Obviously, I would never do that at work because no one wants to sit at your bar.
I hope you like Maleeha's cocktail. I hope you try it at home sometime. She let me have it last night, and it was really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. So she's come up with a good one there, I'd say. Pretty unique. I've never heard of using yogurt in a cocktail before. I don't know about you. But I'm going to be doing something not too crazy. I think it's pretty approachable. I wanted to do something that people would be able to do. People would have access to these ingredients in a grocery store. You don't really need anything too special. The thing that I'm using that's really special is the tuna that I'm using. So I chose to use tuna from a supplier that we use at the restaurant called Organic Ocean. They're based in BC. I worked with Organic Ocean when I was in Ottawa and a little bit when I was in Toronto as well. But they're an awesome company, and they have amazing products and great salespeople. Not too pushy or anything like that. They really help you out, give you a lot of information that you need, answer your questions for you. I like them as a company. So we've been using their products at the restaurant for a couple of months now, and I'm really, really happy with everything we've been getting from them. Specifically, this tuna product really stands out. It's super consistent. It's a Canadian product, which is really important to me, because a lot of the tuna that you see on menus in different places comes from all over the place, because, you know, tuna is a pretty big fish, and it's got a pretty large predatory range. They go all over the place. So the tuna that I'm using is an albacore tuna, which is one of the largest species of tuna. But the special thing about this albacore tuna is that they harvest it and they catch it. It's troll line caught too, by the way. They catch it at a specific size that limits the amount of mercury that bioaccumulates in the flesh. So it's a small size that's harvested, but it's perfect, I think. The loins come in really manageable sizes. They're about just over a pound, 2 pounds each, so just under a kilo each. Sometimes you can get big ones that are over a kilo, but I'll show you. I'll pull it out of the fridge now.
Yummy shrimp chips, eh?
So they come in, and you can see it here. This is one loin. This is probably a smaller loin, but this is one nice one. This is exactly how we get it at the restaurant. I took this right from the restaurant because I wanted to show everybody this. So I think it's a really awesome product. I think I've said that a couple times, but I'm really happy with working with it.
You try my cocktail?
No, I didn't.
Might make your tartare better. Oh, what's wrong? Come.
Ooh, it's good. A little bit sweet. So whenever I open up a bag of something, meat like this, it's a little bit juicy. I like to have these linen likes on hand. Linen like, it's like a large napkin, but it has just the right texture. So I like to have some handy. So I'm gonna open up the bag here, take a look at the fish, give it a little pat dry. You can discard this, we don't need it anymore. These loins come in to us boneless, which is fantastic, but you still have to go over them a little bit to make sure that there's nothing on them. So after I've dried it off a little bit, I'll just quickly feel with my hands, washed hands of course. Whenever you're working with food, you want to make sure that your hands are clean. So I'll just have a quick feel and see if there's any bones anywhere. Sometimes you find them, not too many, not too often, but there can be bones from the ribs on here, and you don't want to take any chances. The bones from tuna can be very sharp. I found one. Here's one. Nobody wants to bite down on that. So it's always a good idea just to take a look if you ever get tuna like this. So I think I mentioned this tuna comes from BC. So specifically it comes from a place called Haida Gwaii in northern BC. I don't know if you could hear that. Lawson yelled out at the same time, but it's Haida Gwaii in northern BC. So now that we have our tuna, it's in really, really good shape. Because I'm making a tartare out of it, I don't have to be too picky about what I use.
Can you also do a crudo with it? What's the difference between a tuna tartare and a tuna crudo?
You can definitely do a crudo with it. So I'd say the only difference between a tartare and a crudo would be the way that you cut the tuna. So because it's for a tartare, I'm going to be dicing it. But I'm not going to be dicing it too small because I still want there to be some nice texture to it. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut a manageable piece here, like that. Maybe I'll put this back in the fridge now because I don't think I'm going to need to chop all this up right this second. So I'll just throw this in something so we can enjoy this later. Because it's a pretty big loin, I'm definitely going to get a couple meals out of that for sure. So maybe I'll have a crudo later. Maybe I'll have the tartare now and then I'll have a crudo later.
Sounds nice.
Sounds yummy. All right.
My dream come true.
So now, like I said, I'm just going to dice it. So I'll start
Not in here, not in here.
this side here. There we go. That looks good. Nice pieces. You can see. I don't know if you can see this flesh. The fish is really, really, really nice. Beautiful. And that's important. If you're going to be eating fish raw, you want to make sure that it's really high quality. And so that's why this is the only fish we would serve raw at the restaurant. So, just going to dice this up now. Hope you can see that all right. Good.
Very bad.
Now on the bottom of the loins, you'll notice that there's a little bit of sinew, which can be gross to eat. Nobody wants to eat fish sinew. Doesn't sound like a very pleasant idea, does it? So every now and then, you'll find some. Just pick it out. Discard it. Nobody wants to chew on that. Nobody wants to get stuck in their teeth. So I'll continue to dice this up here. There we go, it's looking good. Maybe I'll make one cut there and I'll do some bigger pieces. There we go. So our tuna's all chopped up now. Wash up really quick here. So important to stay clean when you're working with products like this.
Oh wow, that was so quick.
So we're gonna need our knife for our cucumbers as well. Just tidy up quickly here.
This cucumber?
That's right. I think I'll just switch out cutting boards now too.
Okay, okay.
So I'll take
You don't have to take the bottom one.
this tuna and just put it in here for now. I can wash that now. All right, now I can do my cucumber.
Here you go.
So I like to add the cucumber to the tartare because I like it for texture. Sure, everybody could have guessed that already. So when you're eating tuna tartare, there's a textural component to the flesh. Obviously, chomping down on it. When I cut it a little bit bigger, you can definitely feel that you're biting into something. But I thought it was a nice idea to have some cucumber in here, just for some more texture. So you can take the skin and you can take the seeds if you want, but I think that's just a little bit wasteful, so I'm just going to leave everything. So I'll just dice the cucumber into biggish pieces here, kind of like the tuna. And like I said, if you want to take the skin and the seeds off, you can. It'll look different. There won't be any green in there, but this looks good. So I'll just put this here for now. And that's pretty much all the prep I need to do for this. So it's really, really straightforward. So I can start to plate now.
Oops, I forgot
So
to wave someone.
what I'll do is just take a bowl. At the restaurant we use ring molds for stuff like this, but I'm not going to use a ring mold at home. I have an idea of what I think I'm going to do. So another component to this tartare here that's important is the Kewpie Mayo. So Kewpie Mayo. Kewpie is a big company in Japan that's like Hellmann's. It's a brand of mayonnaise. But Kewpie mayonnaise has become so much more than just the brand name Kewpie. It's like a way of life. It's like if you really like mayonnaise, then you will probably really love Kewpie mayonnaise. So what's the difference between regular mayonnaise and Kewpie mayonnaise, or like Hellmann's mayonnaise and Kewpie mayonnaise? Well, it's the flavoring, right? It's like how they make it. It's the consistency and it's the flavoring. And there are some subtle and not so subtle differences as well. But I find the flavor of this Kewpie mayonnaise really suits the tartare dish. And I love it. I think it's really, really savory and delicious, and that's what this dish is all about. This dish is about not only the flavor and the purity of this beautiful albacore tuna that we get from Organic Ocean, but the savoriness of the other components as well, and the seasonings for that really bring out the flavor and help with that satisfying savoriness that everybody's looking for when they eat food.
Hey babe, is there any weird way that you eat Kewpie mayo in a day?
Is there? What, am I missing it?
Popcorn.
With popcorn? That was a gross idea, though. Don't even mention that. That was a gross idea. So I've got my Kewpie mayo. I've got my bowl. I'm just going to put the Kewpie mayo in the bowl, and I'll start just dolloping a little bit in, judging by the amount of mayonnaise that I have. And then I'll just mix it around to coat the bottom a little bit, because what my goal is for us to get a little bit of Kewpie mayo with every bite.
I never got to try this dish after we
So I put it on the bottom of the bowl like that. Then I can use a spoon here. I'm going to season the cucumbers a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm going to use my fine grained salt for this one. There we go. The good old Windsor. The Windsor table salt. Iodized. There we go. Get some salt on there. And then I'm going to put my tuna in the mayonnaise. Oh, this is going to be yummy.
I'm really excited.
This is going to be yummy.
I'm so excited. You know, there's one thing that I love in this whole world, other than oysters,
Kewpie
and
mayo.
my son, tuna tartare.
Tuna tartare.
Tuna tartare. Oh, and you. I love you too.
So we've made Tuna Mountain. Tuna Mountain sitting on Kewpie Mayo Valley here. Lawson's playing.
He has a fun new game where he puts his crayons through his activity cube. I just have to help him with it. BRB.
Now I'm going to put the cucumbers on. You can mix them in with the tuna as well if you'd like. I just put them on because I'm just going to be scooping when I get in there.
Put him in, Lawson.
Because this is the kind of thing when you start eating it, it's all going to disappear in 15 minutes probably. So it doesn't matter too much how you layer it.
I don't think you made enough shrimp chips.
I think I made enough shrimp chips. I'm going to have to make some more.
Yeah.
So the next component that I have in my tuna tartare here is something called furikake. And that is another Japanese ingredient that helps with savoriness. And so it's a you might have noticed that I didn't season the tuna, and that's intentional. So I didn't season the tuna because I'm using a seasoning called furikake. And what is it? It is a mixture of a bunch of different things, and it's made specifically for seasoning rice and raw fish. It's got a pretty cool history. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, we can chat some other time, but I won't bore everybody with the historical details of furikake right now. But it's basically a seasoning mixture, so it almost always contains sesame. It almost always contains like sugar and salt and like a little bit of MSG. Not a harmful amount, obviously. And then this one in particular contains nori. So nori is a type of seaweed. There's a bunch of different seaweeds that you can use, different flavor profiles. I really like one from a place in New Brunswick called Grand Manan. It's a type of seaweed called dulse. It's got a really cool flavor to it. It's a Canadian product.
Love dulse.
I won't be using dulse in this one though. This is just made with nori. So that's a different type of seaweed. So I'm just it's just a seasoning mixture, so I'm just gonna spoon a little bit on top of my tuna mixture here to season it.
Did you put any oil in there too?
I did
missed
not.
that, I'm sorry.
I didn't put any oil because it's sitting on a bed of mayonnaise.
Yeah. Yum.
So I wouldn't want to add any more oil. Ooh, that looks so good. That looks so yummy.
Delicious. Here, we should show
So you
everyone
can get
what it looks like.
you can get lots of different stuff to season your tuna, your fish. You can get lots of different stuff. So this is just the things that I personally like on the tuna. So I like the tuna, I like the Kewpie mayo, I like the cucumbers in there, I like the furikake. This is a product called Katsuobushi, which is a smoked shaved bonito. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that on there. It smells a little bit like fish food, if you've ever fed fish, but it actually tastes amazing. It's so savory.
I bet it works really well with all the flavors in there,
It's so savory, yeah. So don't be off-put by the smell. It tastes amazing. So other stuff I have here that I could garnish the tuna tartare. I've got some puffed wild rice, so I can use a little bit of that too. That'd be nice for a crunchy textural component. Plus it's quite savory as well, so I like it. I like garnishing things with it. And then I still have some of my shoots from local growing company. So ideally for this dish, I would probably garnish with some shiso or something like that. I don't have any shiso right now, so I'll use what I have. So I've got some red and green daikon.
They grow some great nasturtiums in the summertime too.
Yeah,
I bet that would look beautiful.
They grow a lot of really great stuff, but yeah, nasturtiums would be amazing on here. So put a little bit on there. That'd be nice. Yeah, local growing company. Check them out. Amazing products.
They're great guys too.
Yeah, they are.
Really, really love them.
And then, so you can eat this with a lot of different things. It's pretty much done just like that. So you can eat it with a spoon. You can eat it with nori. If you have nori, you should be able to buy it at the grocery store. So you don't actually have to do anything to the nori besides maybe like cut it up in more manageable sizes, because it'll come in sheets that are about that big. So you can just take the nori and cut it into 4 and then scoop with the nori. It works really, really well. Or you can use a spoon, like I said. You can use some type of bread if you want. Or you can do what I've done here, which is fry up something called shrimp chips. So shrimp chips are pretty awesome because they puff up. So it's based on tapioca starch, and it aerates really, really well. It's really crisp and delicious. You can feel, or you can hear, sorry, how crisp it is, how like airy they are. I really, really like them. They're really easy to cook. They come in small discs in boxes like this, and you just have to fry them at home. I just shallow fry them in a pot of oil that I have over on the stove there. You don't need very much. I have a small amount of oil. Maybe I'll show you. I have a small amount of oil in this pan here. So there, that's the pot that I use, and you can see there's like hardly any oil in there at all. And that's all I did. I just fried them up quickly in there. And they're crisp, they're flavorful, they're delicious. They do contain shrimp, and they taste a little bit shrimpy, and I like that because it just heightens the savoriness of everything. Makes everything even more tasty than it already is.
So with the tuna tartare, we're pairing rosewood rosé. It is 58% gamay and it's 58% cab franc and 48% gamay noir. It's fermented wild in stainless steel, and it's unfined and unfiltered, which is totally up my alley for wine. They've got these beautiful little labels. They just came out, and I think they ran out really quickly last year, so we obviously had to grab a case of it. But yeah, that's what I would pair with the tuna tartare. Try it together.
Ooh, it turned out well, obviously. Good.
All right.
Because it's simple. I didn't have to do anything crazy. I bought the Kewpie mayonnaise at the grocery store. You can make it yourself if you want to. If you're interested, Serious Eats has a really good recipe for Kewpie mayo you can make, but it's very simple. I can post a recipe, or we can figure out a way to get you a recipe if you're interested. If not, you can just buy it at the grocery store. Cucumbers at the grocery store. The furikake you can get at any Asian market, and there will be a lot of different types too, so you can choose types that already contain katsuobushi. It might just say bonito on it. But yeah, or you can, there's lots of different types of furikake you can get that contains egg, and I know that might sound a little bit weird, but it's actually really delicious too.
Like dehydrated egg?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yep. So
neat.
Play around with the seasoning mixtures.
Yeah. This
is the container, just so you know what it looked like. And this stuff tastes amazing. I love it, especially in something like this.
Uh-oh, someone said something bad.
Uh-oh. But yeah. As for the tuna, this tuna is pretty hard to get. It's pretty hard to get. So, you don't see it very often in Kingston, especially.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But, if you want some, you'll just have to come to the restaurant. I think that's your only choice, really. No, you might be able to get it, but most of the tuna that you see in Kingston is either yellowfin, especially like at the grocery store, like at Loblaws or something like that, is yellowfin, and it contains a lot more mercury, and
This is so good.
it might not be the best product to buy because it might not be Canadian, and that's basically the big reason why I choose to use the albacore tuna, because I like that they're a smaller size, they're non-bioaccumulating, so there's almost no mercury in them, and it's a Canadian product. That's why I like it. What's up?
We can wrap up now.
Yeah. So
So
I didn't get a chance to look to see if anybody had commented or anything like that. Looking great. So,
thanks, guys.
yay. Sorry, just going over the comments now because we're just about done with our half hour. So, where can you buy the Kingston Food Tour says where can you buy the Kewpie Mayo? So you can get it at Asian Market. You can get it at Loblaws too. Just be in the comment, the condiment section. So I can show you the bottle.
Say hi. Say hello.
Hello. So this is the bottle that I bought. It comes in a bag, and it'll say Kewpie on it, and it'll also have this little cartoon character that is like the mascot for the Kewpie company with big eyes. So that's what you'll notice. So yeah, you can get it. You'd be surprised. You can get it pretty much any grocery store. Just keep your eyes peeled for it. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Going through comments. Wow, there's lots of people watching. This is awesome.
I just also want to mention that. Tom, move your head, please.
So Marv's Room 99 says, "Is it a French variation at Chien?" And I'm sorry I didn't get to this comment earlier. Is it a French variation at Chien, as in the tuna tartare that we serve at Chien is a French variation? Great live stream. Thanks. That's really nice of you to say. So I'm going to assume Marv's Room 99. The question that you're asking is about the tuna tartare. So
No, you have an Asian influence, like.
yeah. So I don't do a French influenced tuna tartare at the restaurant. We can switch it some other time, but
But you and Henry decided.
the reason that I stuck with this dish in particular among all of my options, in particular for the new menu launch, which happened right before COVID-19, unfortunately, but the reason that I stuck with this one is because the old tuna tartare dish that was on the menu and had been on the menu for years had some Asian flavors in it, and I just thought that it just needed to be focused a little bit more, and so that's why I decided to change it. So the components of the old tuna tartare dish were crispy wontons, which are nice. There was a sesame, like a really strong flavor of sesame in it, which was nice. There was a little bit of spiciness to it. So it was a good dish, but I just wanted to focus it a little bit more, and so what I did is chose to focus more on the Japanese flavors, because I think that if anybody knows what they're doing with tuna, the Japanese know what they're doing with tuna. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
So our half an hour is almost over, but I just wanted to mention that if you're looking for these recipes, I will be posting them on my Instagram feed, which is _Mrs. Iglesias, or you can look me up by my name. It's Maleeha Ghani Bruce. You spell it Maleeha, and then my last name is Ghani. I will post all of the, I'll post the cocktail recipe and the tuna recipe, and this bottle of wine that I was talking about is already featured on there. And for now, we're just going to say goodbye, and thank you so much for having us in your home.